Ciao Juventini, welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel, where of course it's all Juve all the time. You know the drill. I'm Alberto. I got all this morning's news surrounding La Vecchia Signora. Okay, so we're going to get into some Mercado rumblings, and then of course our players' condition as the growing concerns with injuries that plague Juventus for several years, and especially this season, continues. All right, so we're going to take a look at the players' injuries. We're going to take a look at their status and how things are shaping up for the second half of the season for Max Allegri. All right, so let's get into it. All right, Juventini, friendly reminder, like that video, okay? So take the quick second, smash that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. It all helps the channel, all right? Now, let's get to the news. So, amidst everything that's going on with Juventus, we continue to get good, positive signs in terms of the investigation and getting closer to the end of this thing. Today, Juve's stock price rises 5%, all right? Yet another sign that things are trending upwards after everybody, a lot of social media outlets, all the rivals were so quick to dance on Juve's grave. Things continue to trend upwards. So that's the kickoff for today's show. Now we get to some Mercado rumblings, all right? Now, Paredes set to leave at the end of the season. Juve will not be taking up the obligation, and the criteria has not been met to make it an obligation. So there you have it. Paredes should be gone at season's end. Scalvini, a lot of Juventini excited about the potential of Juve adding him. Juve is not in the front row for Scalvini, a player they're interested in, but not front row, so he's not top lister for Juve. Grimaldo, the discussions have already begun between Juve and his agent. However, there are multiple other Italian teams looking for Grimaldo's signature as well, so we'll have to keep tabs on that one. Vlahovic, rumors continue to swirl around Premier League teams trying to come in and get Vlahovic as early as January. Now, I don't see anything to that. I didn't believe that it would happen in January, and today it is being debunked, saying that there basically have been zero contacts between any Premier League teams and Juventus for Vlahovic. The other thing is, of course, things can change quickly, but I don't expect anything coming down the pipeline in January for Vlahovic. Now, interesting to note with Vlahovic, this segues us into the last portion of the news, which is the injury front, which continues to just haunt us, and Vlahovic is one of them. Still battling the pubalgia there, which could become a sports hernia, so they have to be very, very careful in the treatments, but we do not have a definitive timeline for Dusan Vlahovic, all right? So again, it's very, very frustrating, but we do not actually have a concrete or even guideline as far as a timeline. They're playing this thing. It's going to be 1 week at a time, basically, to see what happens. But Vlahovic, we will need him second half of the season. We will need him firing second half of the season. So the team started to perform quite well, and the biggest question mark we have was, man, does this thing ramp up a notch once we get Vlahovic back into the lineup? Because it seems that the midfield balanced itself out with Locatelli, Rabiot, and Fagioli, but we just didn't get to see Vlahovic up there enough as he was dealing with problems trying to get fit for the World Cup. So those question marks still surround us with Dusan Vlahovic, and we will have to wait, and we don't know how long we're waiting, and that's frustrating. Now you get to Chiesa. The test results look like he's avoided injury and something more serious, which is a huge positive. He is getting the week off as a precaution, and this makes complete sense because we know how long we've waited for Chiesa. The frustrating part is that literally 2 days before he goes down and has to take this break, we were literally hearing about how he is flying all over the training pitch and looking incredibly well. Well, now we got to shut things down a bit. So 1 week off as a precaution for Chiesa. Paul Pogba, we know what it's become, and it's a month. So probably late January. The frustrating thing about this is that, it's not that he's even experienced a setback and he hasn't re-aggravated an injury by any means. It's just literally them wanting to continue that rehabilitation program and keep him off the pitch and running full speed and running with the ball. So frustrating one there because there hasn't actually technically been a setback. But we continue to wait on Pogba. Bonucci is the last one, and he looks like it's going to be more serious than originally expected. So probably a month out for Bonucci now. Now, with that, we know where we finished off the first half of the season with in terms of Bonucci, and that's basically that he has lost the starting gig. He is not the top dog at the back line. It's become Danilo and Bremer, and even Sandro as they form that three-man back unit. And Gatti has surpassed Rugani on the pecking order as far as coming off of the bench and being a substitute. And to be honest, all of this makes sense. Bonucci was not trusted in the big games. How does this affect us? Really, it doesn't affect us largely, and we were getting more and more reports that Gatti was going to get increased workload and minutes in the second half of the season, which we should all agree with. He deserves it. Rugani, this probably halts any moves for Rugani in January, the fact that Bonucci is out for a month, because, of course, our physical conditioning and the fact that we've seen so many injuries. Why take a chance at losing another rotational piece at center back, especially if you're operating in a 3 center back system? So I expect Rugani to stick around till season's end. All right, so that's your news break, Juventini. You know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, but let me know what you think of all the news you've heard today in the comments section. All right, and we'll mix it up till tomorrow's edition. Forza Juve, fino alla fine. Ciao.